What's up? What's happening? Happy January 23rd to you guys. How are you doing? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. I am Bill Silvey. I am the Dungeon Delver. And how the heck is everyone doing this evening? I am doing hunky and or dory. I have had an absolutely abysmal last 4 or 5 days. Coolant system blew out on our lone drivable automobile on Thursday. Fixing that cost something to the tune of about $1,400. So, yeah. Sorry, Necromancy for Kids. That's the volume. Thank you, John Scott. So anyway, we're not doing anything special tonight. Anything in particular tonight. I do want to show off my I Heart Greyhawk shirt. It doesn't show up real well, but the heart here is a crystalline D20. John says, I can maybe send you a first edition item. What do I need for my collection? I don't know. What about a pastel B1? If you've got a pastel cover, not the 4-color, not the comic book looking one, but the old monochrome B1 that you can spare. How about one of those, John? Thank you, Barbara Lee Weaver. Thank you, Juxtaposed Joker. That was awesome of you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been streaming I've been videoing like crazy because stuff keeps coming up that I want to tell you guys about. Now, I did talk a little bit today. Knuckle Brat Hearts Blackmore. Am I considering a series of BOGO minute? I don't know. I am afraid that if I make a miniature of BOGO, his character will die. So it's like painting a miniature is a sure way to have a character get offed. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you all for the birthday wishes pouring in. But anyway, yes, just so we're clear, just so we're 100% clear, this is Greyhawk, the luxury golfing community. Families, all families welcome. Luxury golfing community of Northwest Central Florida. Just so we're clear. Thank you, Twincast. Jorge, thank you. Make minis of the cast of Game World unpainted and sell as sets. Maybe I might do that. I just might do that. Then the listeners can play along at home. You can break out your Gamma World play sets and play them. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Barbara Lee says, the good thing that came out of your channel was the good thing that came out of the WotC mess is you found my... Thank you. Lots of people have found my channel. I was shocked. When I started releasing videos on it, I was like, holy cats, I'm getting a lot of subscribers. Speaking of which, we are now just a little bit shy of having picked up 2,000 subscribers in 1 week. Now, let me tell you guys something. I am fully aware. I am fully aware. Thank you, Jimmy Invictus. Thank you so much. That this ride is going to end. Oh, Mobius, thank you. Thank you. A super from Mobius also. That's $10 Canadian, so that's about 85 cents. I'm kidding. That's awesome. That is wonderful. I don't care if you super chat me 85 cents. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. But anyway, no, the channel has been exploding in popularity. Exploding, I tell you. And it's been so awesome. And thank all of you for everything you've done. On my channel, I don't just talk about controversies created by Wizards of the Coast and how well my channel is doing, and then BS on live stream. I actually do have content. I do content. Thank you, Bill Trethaway. Did I get that right? Trethaway? Another bill. Bills of the World Unite. But yeah, no. We do have some content coming this week. Okay, this weekend really scuppered me. But coming this week, I'm going to be doing a series of videos. Light Main, how does it's a rough 30. Uncle Brat, thank you. I'm happy you found my channel too. Thank you, Uncle Brat. That's right, Bill Ward of Black Sabbath. You're just saving 85 cents for Gamma World Friday. I'm happy you found it too, regardless of super chats or no. But to continue, coming up, we have some AD&D content. I'm going to be doing a series of short videos, and I'm talking like 10 to 15 minutes max, a couple of times a week. And I'm going to walk through making a character, not building. We don't say build, making a character for every character class in first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I'll walk through them. It's not a difficult process. There's not a lot of build that goes on. If you're build happy, there are ways to have fun with build in first edition AD&D. It's a little second level kind of stuff, but you can do it. If you're jammed, okay. And I'm bringing this up because I've seen a lot of people come to the channel in the comments. And by the way, if I could just get distracted for just a second, because that never goes wrong. By the way, do you guys want me to wear the wizard hat tonight? And if so, which wizard hat? Gandalf wizard hat or purple wizard hat? You guys let me know in the comments. Super chooses the hat over anyone. Just letting you know. But if you find yourself wanting to experience a build with a lot of moving parts, your best bet is to do take an elf, multi-class that elf as a fighter, magic user, thief, or fighter, magic user, cleric, because you will get a ton of options. Let the horse choose which hat I wear. Chris is got that. Insane owl bear making wizard hat. That's that hat. That is that hat. If I had batteries to power the flashing lights, I would also include the Mickey Mouse wizard hat in that. So it is possible to engage in some build kind of stuff, but on the back end, you're kind of limited by level limits, you know? Your thief level will always go up, but your fighter and magic user won't if you go fighter, magic user, thief. Get me a hat with a wizard did it stitched in. Have I designed a miniature in Blender? I don't. I have not. I don't know my way around Blender well enough yet, but I should do that with all the spare time I'm leaving myself. Hey, Bill, to add to your character creation videos, would be interested in doing a what is video on AD&D. I actually have. We deep dived sections of the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook. If you look under how to play first edition AD&D, there you go. That's it. Anyway, as I was getting into this, a lot of people have come to the channel because you're like, I'm done. I'm done with 5e. You know, I'm done with current day Wizards of the Coast. I want an old school D&D experience. How do I get that? And I will tell you, first edition AD&D. And I know what you're thinking, Bill, it's advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's still Wizards of the Coast. No, it's not. No, it is not. You cannot get much further from current day D&D. And I'll tell you how I know this. I know it because I know. No, I'm serious. When I'm puttering around the office, I'll put on videos sometimes because, like, my comfy spot. Thank you, Tonka. That's okay. My comfy spot for listening to stuff is actually listening to and watching car restoration videos and like vintage computer restoration videos and vintage car restoration videos and history documentaries. It's not watching a bunch of D&D content. There are D&D YouTubers and gaming YouTubers and nerd YouTubers that I watch, and I can recommend many of them. T-shirted Historian, Dungeon Minister, and then there's so many more others of you. Those are just two off the top of my head. I'm gonna do like a super video one of these days, and I'm gonna say just all the links are in the description. Here's why I like these guys. Kind of video that's coming soon. I'll just kind of have that as just like an ancillary video, but I want you guys to watch it. But I do just throw some on. Claire Lane, my goodness. Thank you so much, Claire. That is lovely. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You're getting interested in tabletop RPGs. Believe it or not, Claire, you joined at a good time. You joined the fray at a good time. It's always good to jump into the resistance. But to get back to what I was saying, listening to people talk about 5e, it is so alien. You know, it's like, and look, I'm not edition warring here. I'm just stating a fact. You ask me, you say, Bill, tell me about the Paladin in first edition AD&D. Oh, Paladin's always human, always lawful good, has these stat minimums. You know, wisdom 9, strength 14, charisma of minimum of 17, I think constitution 12. And so I say those things, and then people are like, I have a chaotic neutral water genocide paladin of oath breaking, and then they just go off. I mean, when you said chaotic neutral paladin, like, that was just like white noise to me, right? And again, I'm not edition warring. I'm not slamming you. I'm not picking you. I'm just talking about, you know, my area of experience. And so that stuff just kind of, it goes white noise, goes all staticky on me, right? And so there's a huge difference. And down here in the old school end of the pool, there's a lot of good stuff. And I was, I caught one of those D&D horror story videos today, and a guy was like, he was clearly talking about 3rd edition, and I don't really understand what was going on, because the guy, dude was playing a ranger, and he was trying to shoot a pterodactyl out of the air with a bow, and he's a dwarf, right? Okay, let's setting aside dwarf ranger for a second. The DM said, did you take basically what amounted to a feat for anti-aircraft fire? And the dude said no, and the DM's like, well, if you had, you would know that the a dwarf's vertebrae are like the shape. He can't look up to shoot stuff down. And I was just like, and that just like activated my angry. Not because I care about something that happened in a 3rd edition game 15, 16, 17, 18 years ago. You know, one of the formative dwarf characters in D&D, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, yeah, Thorin and company from The Hobbit, Balin and Gimli rather from The Lord of the Rings. And you'd be inside that inner ring, but it wouldn't be a bullseye. Gary loved 3 Hearts and 3 Lions. So much of the underlying structure of D&D and AD&D are in that one slim science fiction fantasy novel, 3 Hearts and 3 Lions. And that book features a dwarven ranger, Huey. Huey is a dwarf, and he also has some ranger abilities. Now, Eleonora, the Swan May, she has a lot of ranger abilities too. In fact, I would say probably a little bit more than Huey does. Hello, grumpy old Slan. So it just struck me funny. It just struck me funny that whoever this 3rd edition DM was, harder than me. Like, I can make reasons for it, for a dwarf not being a ranger in OD&D or AD&D. I can come up with so many better reasons than, their cervical vertebrae are fused. They can't look up to shoot things out of the sky with a bow. So that it struck me funny in both ways, Tonka Todd. John's got to have a best of dragon in very good condition. John, you don't have to send me a birthday gift, John. You really don't. I sincerely appreciate that. I do, from the bottom of my heart. I have all the best of dragons. I do. I really do. But I thank you so much for that. I thank you, everyone, so much for everything, the supers and everything. It's been a day, and you guys are making it awesome. You know what? I bitched about it, but I did have a good birthday. Let me tell you about the good things. I told you about my broken car and sick cat and all that. Let me tell you about the good things. Yesterday, we decided to celebrate. You can buy me coffee one day, Scott. That'll be awesome. How about a beer? You buy me a beer. I haven't read any of the others in the series, but Three Hearts and Three Lions is phenomenal. First of all, you'll finish it in an afternoon. Bill wants a look at some of my minis. They look awesome. You would agree that the rule of cool should also be considered at the tabletop. Well, first of all, Bill, thank you for the super. Thank you for the super. And yes, we can look at the minis. Anyway, to get back to Three Hearts and Three Lions, like if you got to get your tires done on your car, you take Three Hearts and Three Lions with you. You'll finish the book. Anyway, going back to what I was saying about the weekend. So, yesterday we had Tijuana Flats. Now, if you're not here in the Southeast, I think they're all the way up into like Georgia and the Carolinas now. I started eating there when there were 2 locations here in the Orlando area. One out in Winter Park. Thank you, Collecting Chaos. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super. I started going to Tijuana Flats again, 2 locations. I even started a tradition at my company because I went on a day off and I got like they got a burrito there that's like as big as your forearm, right? I was in my 20s at the time. I could eat that way and not, die. So I got one of those. And I remember I tried a hot sauce there called the Endorphin Rush. Endorphin Rush is like having someone put a pair of channel locks up your nose and squeeze. It hurts. And so like a match head of Endorphin Rush is what I put on my finger, and I took a bite and I regretted it. And so the Endorphin Rush challenge became a thing at my company because I started telling everybody about this, and people that came to our IT department to work, we would take them to lunch their first day and put them through the Endorphin Rush challenge. And with a full knowledge, like this is a 30,000 Scoville hot sauce, which some of you may be like, you mean water? But anyway, well, my family ordered Tijuana Flats for me for lunch yesterday. We had it delivered. Couple of big bags of freshly baked nachos and queso and their delicious salsa and guacamole, and it was hazing. And we feasted on that. And then I got this shirt yesterday. And if you follow me on Twitter, I'm _Dungeon Delver on Twitter. You saw that my oldest daughter gave me her gift this morning because it's technically my birthday now. I got the 1977 America, Led Zeppelin America Tour t-shirt with the dates on the back. All right. You see them now, like you can buy one at Target and it's just the, North American Tour 1977 and it's the Apollo Fall of Day. Thank you so much, Spectre. Thank you. Best DM's Guide 1979 edition. You're darn right. But anyway, so I got the Zeppelin concert tour t-shirt with the lettering on the front and back, and I posted up a picture of it on Twitter. So yeah, I got some good gifts, and I had some good fun, and I had a good meal. And you all may be wondering about cake. I did not have cake. My wife baked me a bunch of chocolate chip cookies, which I'm going to savor over the days. So nobody ever told me if they wanted the wizard. I saw a couple of votes for Gandalf hat. I saw a few votes for purple wizard hat. I never got like a consensus on what you guys wanted for the hat. Long shot, you're not late. A long shot is never late, nor is he early. He arrives exactly when he intends to. So somebody wanted to see some miniatures. Somebody wanted to see some miniatures. I'm not sure, like, let me see if I can get the camera won't be steady and the lighting won't be good. Cor Lang, first live stream. Good to see you here, Cor Lang. Does the giant D20 it does not. Okay, so this is actually, it's stuck up there with some 3M tape, so you know it's never coming down, or it's going to fall down because I touched it. That giant D20, my niece Sarah got me briefly here in the US. I don't know if it's popular elsewhere. There are these Mylar stickers you could get, and they're about the size of a dinner plate, and they stick on your back windshield, and they look like your back windshield is busted open. And there's like football halves and golf ball halves and baseball and softball and tennis ball, and it looks like, oh, it's smashed in. And she got me a D20 one. And the Mylar sticky part did not want to stick on my car at all. And when I was trying to figure out how to make it stick, the D20 fell off. So I kept the D20. I may even have the Mylar broken window part like sandwiched between pieces of cardboard or something. But I kept the D20 because I like the D20. And it's not even an actual foam D20. It's flat on one side. But I sit it up there. Love you to pieces, Sarah. Taco wants a trucker hat. I have a baseball cap. I have what is the arcade in Hawkins in Stranger Things. I have a hat with that logo on it. You don't want this channel to turn into steady camera work or good lighting. You're out of luck because I have good lighting now. Okay, I can't really like look at the monitor and do this. Let me see. Let me get my other camera. This is my webcam. And I will see if I can show you guys just kind of a glimpse. I can promise you nothing in terms of autofocus, how well this may or may not work. This is a C920 fuchsia, not a 950, a 920. Well, TechnoScan, you're in luck. High production value ain't what you're going to get anyway. So let me see if I can do this. Let me see if this will work. Can't believe how generous you guys have been tonight. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. All right. I'll hold it up there. And you can kind of see them. Poor camera's having a hard time. That's my shelf of glory. This is one of the shelves of shame. Unpainted. This is another shelf of shame. Unpainted. And this is yet more shelf of shame. Unpainted. The blue one? The blue one. What blue one? There's a dragon with some blue paint on it. There's some kelpies. And then up here, we have some Space Hulk minis. We have a girl Naga there that'll get me demonetized if I show her too close. Some Macross models. And a true Shelf of Shame because it's got 40K stuff on it. Oh, gosh. So there you go. There's kind of a tour of minis. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked seeing that. Techno Scances, I'm down for the... Yes, we talked about that. I have paints over yonder and over here. I have an airbrush kit. You know, with all that spare time that I'm leaving myself, you would think I'd have plenty of time to paint. Just oodles and oodles and oodles of time to paint. The Emperor protects. See, I don't want to give GW any of my money, but I have to admit they have a pretty darn cool lore thing going on. If you examine stuff like individual stories of the Sisters of Battle and individual stories of Space Marines and so on, and like hands down the best lore they've ever created is for the Deathwing Terminators. First edition Space Hulk had 2 expansions, Deathwing and Genestealer. And in the Deathwing expansion set, we got arguably some of the best tabletop wargame lore ever written. A birthday coffee, my happy birthday, fella. I'm just on the inside of Aquarian, but hopefully you won't take your super chat back because of that. Yeah, Techno, my airbrush compressor is literally like, it's like an inch thick and 3 inches on a side. It may be a little bit bigger. It may be like 6 by 6 by 2, but it is not big. It's not like some tank and then, you know, a pistoned motor with cooling fins on it, and you know, looks like you could paint a car. It's a tiny thing. It's a tiny thing. Thank you, Patty. Happy birthday from the parlor. Thanks for taking it. Yeah, no problem. No problem. But so the Deathwing, I'm going to tell you guys the Deathwing lore because it's so cool. This is back before GW had settled on a lot of their lore, but the Deathwing, the planet that they live on is called Plains World. And they never name a specific tribe, but it is very strongly implied that the Deathwing are Lakota Sioux. Like, there is a very sparse population on this planet. It is considered a feral world by current GW classifications. And they get recruits for Deathwing Terminators by returning to the world periodically and testing Braves. And the vision that the Braves have of the Emperor is through the lens of the beliefs of North American natives, and it's written pretty darn well. So they return, everybody's gone. Like, their few villages are abandoned. Well, long story short, a Genestealer cult had set up shop on the planet and moved everybody into a city. some with promises of power, most forcibly. And so 20 Terminators take on an entire city of Gene Stealer hybrids, and like 3 or 4 survive. The survivors scan all of the Plains World civilians, make sure that they're free of Gene Stealer taint, and one survivor says, or the 4 surviving Marines say, all right, we're going to divide the survivors into 4 new tribes. You're going to the north, we're going to the south, you're going to the east, you're going to the west. Decades pass, an Imperial survey shows up, and they're like, where you been, dudes? Thank you, Meade. Thank you very much. Any chance of a mini-specific channel in your Discord? We kind of have one in the mini, like, casting and painting Discord channel. If you dig down through there, there's one. But I can make a specific one just for minis. Because we talk more about 3D printing in that one, and fishing, and handling depleted uranium, and the flight characteristics of an F-15 Eagle. It's a very specific forum. But so yeah, the Empire sends a survey, and they're like, so a chapter of Terminator Marines went missing. Where's our armor? Where have you guys been? Why didn't you just virus bomb the planet? And they explain it to the Inquisition. They're like, this world is more valuable as a recruitment world for Deathwing Terminators. That's why. The Empire thinks about, or the Imperial forces show up, think about it, and they're like, okay, but we want our Terminator armor back. They're, take it. And that's the Deathwing story, and it's one of the best pieces of lore ever. I fell in love with that when I saw it back in 89 or 90. Unfortunately, I didn't have the presence of mind to buy the Deathwing expansion, the Gene Stealer expansion, and Space Hulk 1.0. First edition. I did, however, get Space Hulk 2nd edition as a Christmas present one year from my lovely wife. And so, when I finally got around about 6 or 8 years ago to painting my Terminators, even though it's right above my thumb there, even though Space Hulk 2nd edition is literally called Vengeance of the Blood Angels, I painted them up in Deathwing livery. Fishing with depleted uranium. Fishing, with depleted uranium. It's not fishing with depleted uranium. So I do love the Space Hulk stuff. I have Space Hulk 2nd edition. I have a boxed Space Hulk 3rd edition. I have the rules and counters and all the greeblies for Space Hulk 4th edition, but I have no I have no box and no miniatures, because they're not different between Space Hulk 3rd edition and Space Hulk 4th edition. So I went on eBay and I found somebody parting one out. I kind of wish I had the Space Hulk 4th edition box, but my shelves runneth over. It is great if you want to play Alien RPG on tabletop, yes. Are the Smurfs just very sad gnomes? I think so. James Keck, thank you. Thank you, James. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for your gift today. I saw that. God bless you, brother. Thank you so much. It's in Gar in Texas. But anyway, when I first started the Discord, I said, okay, here's going to be a 3D printing thing just so I could talk to Bo Ganora, my sound guy, who is evolving into my graphics guy. You're gonna be seeing like better thumbnails on my videos. Bo's gonna do me some sweet thumbnails up. But yeah, he and I and Doomsword just talked about 3D printing a lot, and I was like, I'm just gonna do this, and because there were like 11 people on my Discord at that time. I should still have the 1995 Warhammer Quest to play a D&D style campaign. Been playing Greyhawk from 1st to 3.5. Very cool. But I just want to point this out. This Greyhawk is in reference to a community. Here, let me show you. Let me show you this. It's in Orange Park. I'll just put the link here. This is in Orange Park, Florida. Yeah. The Discord has blown up lately, Kanek. You were there. No, I'm not screen sharing yet. So live Greyhawk. And the reason I mention that is I don't want anyone to go out and purchase an I Heart Greyhawk shirt and think that this is anything other than what it is, which is shows your appreciation for the community here in Florida. I don't want there to be any confusion about that. Because we wouldn't use Wizards of the Coast intellectual property. No one would want to want to I mean, if you want your own, you can go there and show your support for the community in Florida of Greyhawk. So that is what I mean when I say I heart Greyhawk. $3.44K subs, 6.56K more to make the Sparkle Masters dreams come true. So this was my deal. This was my deal, and this still stands. If I hit 10,000 subscriptions on this channel, on this YouTube channel, 10,000, I will arrange a convention, a gaming convention here in Central Florida that you guys can come to. Good old school style gaming will be yours. We got a ways to go. I don't think it's going to happen. Not anytime soon. But who knows? Who knows? I am humbled. Found your OG D&D, and it was 1994, so I stand corrected on that from Friday. That's fine. That's fine. You live in Jackson, your gaming group plays in Orange Park. Well, there you go. Matthew Sherman, you live near Greyhawk. Congratulations. You bet I can, Fuchsia Cone bets I can break 10,000 in 2023. Well, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I can believe she's causing trouble, but I'm going to save that opinion maybe for a little bit later tonight. Not on the live stream. Thank you, Aunt DVamp. Thank you very much for the happy birthday. Let's see what else. By the way, somebody mentioned, and I'm gonna Mead. Thank you for the super. I'm gonna turn that off real quick. Somebody mentioned this the other night, and I hope. Oh, Blake, I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna pin that, brother, because I'm gonna come back to that here in just a second. Somebody had mentioned the other night that they could see. I was gonna do that. So that was a Dungeon Master's Guide, and they could see that it was getting stressed, that like the book was getting stressed and that it was going to get damaged. So I set a player's handbook there instead, and the Dungeon Master's Guide is back there. So Blake says, I'm about to play in my very first advanced D&D first edition campaign. Any advice? Blake, if it's your first time, I'm going to recommend you play just a simple fighter. I'm not trying to take any fun away from you, but just run a fighter for a few sessions. And if you get a handle, like other people are running spellcasters or what have you, and you get a handle on it, ask your DM, can I retire this character and now play a magic user or a thief or an illusionist or a druid or a monk or whatever? Or if your fighter has the stats, ask him, say, hey, if this campaign's going to go long enough, can I like slip into Bard? But keep it simple. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. If your dungeon master is a good one, and Kyle will back me up on this, thank you, Dungeon Minister. Thank you so much. I have never been to those cons, Fuchsia. But anyway, Blake, to get back to you, brother. Brother, I think. Okay, you could be a sister. You could be a whatever. Let's just go with Blake. If your dungeon master is worth their salt, they'll have a lot of subsystems that they've got going that they're using. And thank you, Bill. I can't wait to see those. But just let the DM worry about those subsystems. Warrior Womp, thank you. Another lap around the sun. That's darn right. Thank you, Mark Morrison. I'm not I still get carded, but at least I don't have to use my fake ID anymore. The oldest advice on the books, tell the DM, I want to play a fighter. If they say, how about a magic user or cleric? Just reply, I want to play a fighter. Jack is right. Jack is 100% right. We have 62 people watching the live stream right now. That's very nice of you guys. Thank you. Did I say if your dungeon minister is worth their salt? Either or. So, Blake, I hope that answers your questions. Keep it simple. Oh my. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Corian. Wow. Oh my gosh. So Lord Corian is one of our first guys who hung out in the show. He played in Monday or Tuesday night Gamma World, and God, I'm glad to see you, super chat or not. And I'm sorry, Tuesday night AD&D, Friday night Gamma World sometimes, and we haven't seen Lord Corian in a long time. And that's a hell of an entrance, pal. Where you been, man? Where you been? Please come back around. You are missed. I haven't said, like, I sent you a message because Lord Corian is one of our Patreons. You can subscribe to the show on Patreon. I've got Patreon stuff coming, mini modules and stuff like that coming in Patreon in 2023. I'm going to get caught up on that. Hang on, I got a chat come in through Discord here. Hang on, I gotta. Anyway, I lost track. I was so floored from that. Life, that's where you've been. Well, it is spectacular to see you, and I'm glad you're here. Regardless. He kicked down the door and restocked the room. He walked in and went John Dillinger on us. All right, everybody, lie on the floor and keep calm. Yeah, the Bill Carr Repair Fund rolls on, even if the car is not. You're coming back, right? Like you're not, like you're back now. We're going to see. Fuchsia asked for Gandalf hat. Look, I tell you what, I'll put the Gandalf hat on for a little bit, and then I'll put the purple wizard hat on. So that D&D movie, 4 million views, 10 in trending, 1.8 likes. Top comment says movie needs an irrevocable OGL. That is funny. All right, so this wizard hat for a little while, and then I'll put on the purple wizard's hat. It makes my face look shaded and mysterious. I got to start singing to life from Fiddler. I might. This is a wizard hat. You're darn tootin'. My Aretta. Yo, a wizard never arrives when you expect him to. No, I understand. I don't have a red wizard hat. I'm sorry. I used to have a red pimp hat. Uncle Brat, good Lord. Did I just hear the Duel of the Fates music between Uncle Brat and Lord Corian? No, you're going to be wearing an Orko hat. Somebody else the other night said I need that. I don't smoke, but no, I had a pimp hat for a while, which was pretty good because like I would grab it and put it on when I would do computer tech work. It was my thinking hat, and sometimes I'd like stick the wizard hat over the tall part of it, and it'd be a wizard pimp or a Santa hat, and I'd come out because the hat was already red, and I'd put a Santa hat on. It'd be a ho ho ho. But I had to get rid of it, and the reason I had to get rid of it is the person who gave it to me hurt my family. Did something terrible to my family and to me in doing that. Thank you, Fuchsia. Bogos fans want to start a cat repair fund. So yeah, and I'm not going to name names because first of all, you wouldn't know the guy, and second of all, it's gone. It's gone in the past. wimp or pizzard. And the other thing D&D related I have to conclude that story with is I got him and his wife to start playing D&D before I knew they were freaking bonkers, crazy people. And I left, I left 2 players' handbooks at their house, and I will never retrieve them because I will never interact with them ever again. So that's how that goes. So yeah, coming up in the year of our Lord 2023, we got a lot of positive. Some of it kind of seen internet just blinked over here. I hope you guys didn't miss me. Adam Black, hello. Thank you for the happy birthday, Adam. Do I play any board games? Define board game. Do you mean like Sorry and Snakes and Ladders and that sort of thing? Yes. Do you mean Euro games like Catan and that sort of thing? No. Roman Orc, I think I just successfully made my first 1E character, a magic user, thief, elf. Very nice combination. I have some board games back here. I have the Electronic Dungeons and Dragons set, the Space Hulk sets I was talking about earlier. I have Hero Quest down here. And I have a whole raft of Avalon Hill box games. So, kind of. Avalon Hill like Kingmaker. I have a copy of Kingmaker sitting around here somewhere. My Life on Wheels. I'm curious about this space. Oh, God. We just got done talking about it. No, Space Hulk is awesome. And I have done a video on Space Hulk. If you guys want to watch me play the Unalive mission for Space Hulk, I can't say the S word for self-unaliving because the video will get knocked. The Electronic Dungeons and Dragons game, Fuchsia. Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm still going. A copy of Dark Tower. If I had the money to track down a good working copy of Dark Tower, I wouldn't be sweating car repairs. That's for darn sure. But let's see. Need to get me a bigger space. I need sand tables. Yeah. Blood Bowl. I don't have Blood Bowl, unfortunately. It's really cool. Anyway, My Life on Wheels. Space Hulk. Okay, you know the sequence in Alien, or Aliens rather, when they go like in the reactor processor and then they're attacked by aliens from all sides. That plus Warhammer 40K. It is Warhammer 40K boiled down to you are inside a derelict spaceship, hundreds of kilometers long, mashed in with other derelict spaceships, bits of planet and everything else into what is called a Space Hulk. And sometimes the Imperium dictates that archaeotech from thousands of years ago has to be recovered. Sometimes exploration troops will land on a Space Hulk and warp engines inside it will activate and cause it to blip out of existence and blip back into existence thousands of years in the future or thousands of years in the past. And Space Marine Terminators have to land in it, fight Gene Stealers, and recover whatever's in it, and then get out. Bill describes a space. Well, that's true. I'm describing a Space Hulk. Before I found D&D, I built model planes before I found D&D. Model planes, model cars, model tanks were my jam. That game is expensive. If you find 3rd or 4th edition on eBay, be prepared to pay upwards of $300 for it, because GW has taken it out of print and has made no indication that they will ever put it back in print. Although it was in print for a couple of years from like 1989 to 1991, and then it just kind of dwindled away. Then it was in print again from like 1996 until like 1998, and then it just kind of dwindled away. Then in 2009, they announced a 3rd edition, but that they were very clear. They're like, this is limited sets. And they went away like that. Yang Yan Zhao, thank you very much. Hello. And then they came out with a 4th edition in 2014, which is a really short amount of time between editions. And that one sold out like that. But it is now gone. It is now completely gone. So the Space Hulk PC game, every version of Space Hulk has had a computer game. I had a version for first edition Space Hulk for my Amiga computer back in 1991 or 92. Then around the time 2nd edition came out, they released a PlayStation, PC, and other computer platforms, Space Hulk. When 3rd edition came out, they released a virtual tabletop version. And then when 4th edition came out, they released a first-person shooter, which I also have, which is kind of fun. So I have on like an Abandonware's archive somewhere on my computer, I have the Amiga version, I have the PlayStation version, and then I have the first-person shooter for 4th edition, which was good fun right up until the last mission, which is basically just stand in a room and waves of gene stealers come at you. Which is how it works, right? But even on easy mode, I was like, nope, dragging those difficulty sliders all the way down. Even then, and I know, get good, right? So TechnoScan, you bring up an interesting question. Wasn't Space Crusade the same thing as Space Hulk? Yes. Interesting thing about Space Crusade, it introduced the Necrons, and I believe the Tau. But Space Crusade was a little bit more like it was a little bit more like Space Quest. But you could play Space Quest, Hero Quest. You could play a Space Hulk scenario using that, and I'm not sure 100% if you could do that. As far as I know, James, no, Mage Knight is not, but there are lots of click fantasy games out there, and there's enough Mage Knight stuff that you can still play it. I think it's got a fairly active community still. I could be wrong, but I think it does have a fairly active community. I remember seeing Mage Knight and was kind of excited by the prospect, like, oh, I need monsters for D&D, because I was ramping up my miniatures input into D&D, and I'm like, this would be an easy way to get cheap monsters. And the guy who was getting into Mage Knight that I worked with, who was incidentally also in a 40K, was like, yeah, but you don't really get to pick. And I was like, secondary market for those miniatures didn't really dawn on me at the time, and I was like, that sucked. And then and I don't know why they stopped doing this, probably because it cost too much, but Wizards of the Coast started hitting with D&D minis. And look, however else you feel about Wizards of the Coast back in the early 2000s, that was gold. I have boxes of those. I have boxes and boxes of Wizards of the Coast D&D minis, and it is great to just pick up a handful of pre-painted hobgoblins and drop them into the Dwarven Forge out on the table. At my 10K event, can we have a big room where we can build some... I mean, I'm not gonna... I might have a table, for it, but, I'm not gonna stop you. I don't know about a big room, but if people want to show up with a model kit and start putting it together, I wouldn't stop you. A Blacklist Games fantasy set. That's very cool, James. Any chance you could see some of my model tanks? No, that is stuff from literally over 40 years ago, and they're long gone. The last little collection I had, I gave to some kids in the neighborhood. I was in my mid-teens. I had like a Sherman and a couple of Panzer IVs, and I tried to build my own self-propelled artillery piece out of like an M48 hull and a 105 piece and that sort of thing. And some kids in the neighborhood wanted them, and I let them have them. Nope, Fuchsia, they're gone. Spec BuildCon. I don't know what BuildCon is. Is that some kind of convention for bill collectors? I don't know what that is. I'm unaware of anything called BuildCon. Reaching out for sponsorships. I wanted to bring that up. I did want to bring that up because this is important and this is serious. Mark Morrison, yeah, look, you can run some TS, some top secret. Was there ever a model kit of the tank from Tron? I don't know, but I'll get back to you. There is no BuildCon. I will not let you in. If you say BuildCon, if I see you wearing merch with BuildCon on it, I will throw you out of my convention. The convention is the Guac, Great Underground Overland Gaming Convention. State-driven entertainment. Won't be able to watch the whole stream. No, I understand. But thank you for stopping in, State-driven. It's good to see you. Ahoy, hoy. Thank you, Bob. But anyway, somebody was asking me, you know what? There's probably you're talking the recognizers were the big. Basically, they had the two big goalposts hanging from the bottom of them, and I honestly don't know if there was a Tron tank. I see you are long experience. Sure. No, I don't need models. I don't need model guys. Instead of sending me models, you know what? Donate to Toys for Tots. Instead of sending me a model kit, donate to Toys for Tots. How about that? But I want to talk to you guys. Speaking of money, this doesn't have to do with you guys. It has to do with me. I am taking on my first official sponsor. So, you know how you guys, we've got the opening credits there with Summer Mountains, which is from the awesome guys at Bards of Greyhawk. Well, there will be an ad probably just before that or just after that. But anyway, it will just be a brief one. Don't give them the models. I mean, give them the money you would have spent on the models. Mommy, my Barbie doll has 4 breasts. Put that away. But yeah, I have a sponsor, so I'm going to be cutting a little ad for him. It's going to be kind of embedded in the your booth, babes. You were going to get Tonka there. I know you. It's not Raid Shadow Legends. Well, I'll just tell you who it is. It's Hellebarde Games. It's Hellebarde Games, publishers of My Adventure, Temple of the Sun, and like dozens of other gaming products. Okay, they're working on some ad copy for me to read, and we'll have some interstitial graphics while I read that, and then it'll launch into that. So I'm getting my first sponsor, and yes, it is paid. So I'm actually getting ad money for this. So I'm pretty happy about that. Anon says, I'm from Poland, and you like to see some podcast about D&D. Oh, I lost that. From Poland, and you like to see some podcasts about D&D for English streamers because sometimes I give a good idea to game. Well, I try. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anon. I hope you get good ideas for my game. So yeah, we have our first sponsor, and yes, I know the guy who runs Hellebarde Games. He's Don McVitie, and he is a swell guy. I've known Don. I wouldn't be friends with Don without D&D, and I'll tell you how I got to know Don. I've told this story before. Don and I both worked for Gary Gygax back in the early 2000s. And he pings me one day and he says, hey, I'm going to be in Central Florida. His grown-up job is he does information systems, writing about information systems, I should say. And he does information systems. He knows his way around the stuff. So, yeah, that's rough and on. But anyway, so he says, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Orlando because it's convention central here in Central Florida, right? You can have a convention in Orlando in January. Maybe you have to wear a sweater. Versus, let's have our convention in Chicago in January. We need sled dogs. We need the AT-AT walkers and snow speeders. So." So Don comes down and we talk about working for Gary and that sort of thing. And he starts talking to me about just information systems and so on. And so we have lunch for a couple hours and he finally says, hey, I have a position as a freelancer open in my company. And I was wondering if you'd be interested in doing that, writing. He said, I know you can write because you work for Gary. And I know you know your way around information systems because we talk about it. So what do you think? And I said, well, with whom would I have to interview? And he laughed and said, well, me. That's what this lunch was, Bill. So I ended up working for Don off and on, and we had a good friendship relationship, but he also has his company, Hellebarde Games, hellebardegames.com. And so it's just been this cool relationship with him. And he sells great D&D modules, and he published one of mine, Temple of the Sun. And certes, it's a D&D module. Let's see. Did Gary have any favorite bands? Gary was a fan of jazz music, like older jazz music. Like once I mentioned to him that like my favorite, what I thought was classical jazz, I was like, my favorite jazz music, my favorite jazz album is Take 5 by Dave Brubeck. And you could tell when Gary was having you on, even by text. He was very good at doing that. And Gary's response was, it was very polite and measured. Well, but he essentially generation gapped me. He basically told me that was newer jazz and what wasn't his most favorite thing in the world. He didn't dislike it, but it wasn't his favorite. See meme about company who make D&D to try and monetize some streamer money, but only for me. What is my perspective? I think, Anon, I think that's a very good question. And I'm going to answer that by restating a personal philosophy. Let me tell you guys something. I started doing this in 2020. In February of 2020, we all know what happened in February of 2020, okay? Many people I knew, I only used to stream on Facebook Live, which is useless, by the way. Facebook Live is legitimately terrible. I had friends who were essentially trapped in their houses. I knew people in my friends group there were people who were just scared of the human malware, and there were people who legitimately had health issues that if they had caught human malware, it would have spelled the end of them. So they went from happy-go-lucky, go to D&D game once, twice, thrice a week, to locked down in their houses. And it was miserable. I had a webcam and a microphone, and I started streaming on Facebook Live and would just talk to people, to reach out to people, to give people something to do, and I would spread the information about how to get gaming online, how to have a gaming session online. Thanks, Felix. But I always maintained, because sometimes I would look up on an afternoon, it would say you have 0 viewers, or you have one person is watching. It would like hover between 1 and 3. Like if I got like 7 or 8, like my heart would go all aflutter. Like I've got 7 or 8 people watching. And Anon, I said then, and I mean it now, if one person watched my live streams and they feel less cut off from the world, they feel like someone is talking to them and someone is there with them because they're shut up and they can't go out, whether it's because of the now fading, maybe, I think, possibly, human malware or any other reason, then I'll keep doing it. All right. I have been blessed. There has been an outpouring of support for this channel. And look, I know in the grand scheme of things, my 3.4K viewers is nothing. There are YouTubers that tonight will lose 3.4 thousand viewers, 3.4 thousand people to just unsubscribe, because tomorrow 6.8 thousand people will subscribe. All right. I understand that. But I keep doing it. I do it because I love first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. I love original Dungeons & Dragons. All right. I have a computer over there. Other than the video card in it, it's like 10 years old. Okay. Computers used to be my jam. There's nothing out there in computer game land that my PC can't run, at least on medium details, very well. It's just a thing that lets me talk to you guys now. All right. I love tabletop role-playing games, and I do this for you guys. That's the deal. that I make money, that I'm to the point where I get super chatted and donated to, and Patreon and PayPal and everything else. That's really awesome because it helps keep the lights on around here. But that's not why I do it. I hope that answers your question. We get to the point we're having Beyond Owl Bear, you're done. Otherwise, I'm glad you found this channel. Anon, man, don't worry about additions. Play what you love. It does run Morrowind. Dig Author welcomes you, my sweet persistent friend. Come to me now, Nerevar, friend or traitor. Come to the Red Mountain. Did you bring Sunder? Ha ha ha! Bring Wraithguard. So naive. Shame on you. Yeah, that's wild. Dungeon Minister mentions no, Lord Corian, you guys are the best because you're the community. Okay. Go out on Route 66 on Google Maps if you haven't actually been there, all right? Route 66 between Chicago and California. You can find entire towns that are gone. The buildings are still there. There are some neat-looking little... Hello to Taiwan. Thank you very much. I'm not going to do a good job at this. May I please just call you Chen? Is that acceptable? Chen Sun Chu? That was terrible. I'm sorry. I understand, Anon. I have heard that about Eastern Europe and RPG prices. Thank you, Box Cars. I appreciate that. The chat, collecting chaos. It's the chat. Not the peanut gallery. It's the chat. It's always been the chat. Thank you, Chen. Thank you, and again, thank you for your birthday. Yeah, you guys are going to make my metrics go nuts. But if you go out there, like, and find one of those towns and are like, I'm going to put a gas station here. I'm going to put this wonderful gas station or a hotel. If nobody comes and nobody stops by, you know, but if one person does, you're obligated. Much love to Taiwan. Yes, absolutely. We've got a half an hour left, and it's time for a new wizard hat. It is time for a new wizard hat. This is the I just invented the owl bear wizard hat. Okay. You know how an owl's got a big sharp beak and they can eat field mice? I mated one with a grizzly bear. And you know how grizzly bear can crush you to death with their bear hugs and they eat people? That plus an owl. To paraphrase Mystery Men, one of the most underrated and wonderful movies of all times. See, this is why a bog standard scientist is often much better than your garden variety mad scientist. Slap a massive LGS and tabletop streaming center on Route 66. I don't think that would work, Bill. I would say that along Route 66, the number of people who enjoy tabletop role-playing games is close enough to zero as to represent a statistical anomaly. That's right, in the Fiend Folio, there are gorilla bears. The hat does have a Cheech Wizard vibe, doesn't it? Vaughn Bodie. Turn it. So this hat, I got both of my Wizards hats for Christmas. And this Wizard hat, if you're not familiar, see, obviously the implication is that it would point up like that. It does not. It is supposed to hang to the side like that. There is a webcomic, PvP Online. I'm not associated with them. I literally not read the strip in over a decade. But I was an avid reader of it. And one of the main characters, Cole, was the DM for all the other characters. And he had this crushed Wizard hat. And for a very limited time, they offered this as merch. And you could get this at a website called the Village Hat Company, and my wife got me one. It's the sideways flat-brimmed baseball cap of Wizard's hat. Yes, it is. It's a hat gave protection against 1d4 damage. It did. And this hat, I think the Gandalf hat does as well, but this hat actually has a secret compartment inside. Let me see. I wonder. Village Hat Company or the Village Hat Shop? Yeah, no, these are fancy. Yeah, these are all too fancy. San Diego, California, since 1980. That's not what we want. Anyway. A hat of holding, that's right. Getting close to bedtime story. That's right, Dungeon Minister. I hope you've noticed, by the way, Dungeon Minister, that my streams are somewhat family friendly now. So if you ever want this to be your bedtime story for your little ones, and old Dungeon Delver hasn't had a glass of wine or a bottle of beer or three, fancy like Applebee's. I don't know that they made a Presto hat for the cartoon. I'm sure some cosplayers probably put one together. Let me see. Every hat is a C. Yeah. This is villagehatshop.com. Yep. And they are rebranded now. I guess they do something different. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, I don't have the camera. I guess technically if it's for a D20 or something, but honestly, if I put a D20 in there, it would grind against the side of my skull and it would hurt. Let's see. Was it just Village or? Yeah, they don't make these anymore. I remember it was a big deal. Well, they have wholesale. Oh, they do. Okay. beanies, historical hats, kids hats. Maybe it's under kids hats. No, they're just flat caps and bowlers and stuff for kids. They're like $150 a piece. Novelty? Maybe it's under novelty. But they found a box of it. Okay, yeah, they've got some silly stuff. They got a lobster hat. They have lobster hats, hamburger hats. Fez? Oh, they have fezzes, but they don't have wizard's hats. But they found a box of these and reoffered them, and they went like that. Thank you, Ricky. Not only have I built a community, but you're the reason you started watching Dungeon Minister and T-shirt of Historian and Jack Photon. The list goes on. Well, thank you very much. What I'm doing here, it's great to see someone doing something with passion for it, like the old days. Well, I do. And I mean, here's the thing. There shouldn't be a forced mark. I want you guys to think about something you like. That's a nerd hobby. Did anybody look down on the guy who still liked to read like Avengers comics from way back that had an extensive collection of Avengers comics? Is the vintage car man scoffed at? No to both of those questions. The guy, who has like a classic, fly rod and ties his own flies. Role-playing games, the only thing in the world where culturally you are just shoved forward. Like there is no stop. There is no enjoy this edition. Churn. You got to buy more. Even things where they're supposed to be churn and you got to buy more. And it just pushes forward. It's just this nonstop march forward. And all I've ever wanted is to just say, hey, stop. Newer doesn't necessarily mean better. And maybe it means better, but that isn't better is subjective, and it's not a universal standard. Cartoons, Mark Morrison, you know all about cartoons. Crass and Bernie, right? You had Dwayne Bibby, Sean Carey. I remember those artists. Heck yeah. But it was just this this grind of being pushed forward. Newer is better by default. No, it's not necessarily. It really isn't. Well, a newer computer is better. Tell that to people who want to play, who want to play older computer games. You pull your hair out trying to get even stuff that ran well under Windows XP working on modern day operating systems. And it's just this push forward. And I just want to sit back and enjoy what I've got. You guys talk about bag of holding. You want to talk about a Codex of the Infinite Planes. You want to talk about a well of many worlds. Right here. Right here. You will never be done with this book. If you play and love AD&D, you might memorize the contents, and if you can, much respect. You'll never be done with this book. And take it from me, I'm wearing a purple wizard's hat. Infinite adventures in here and in here. You don't have to buy a new one. Your brain doesn't reset. You don't go, well, my role-playing game brain is full. I must now get a new one. I mean, you can get a new one if you want. But this never runs out. This never needs... It's not like a lithium battery where it takes so many playthroughs and then it quits working. Unless your book falls apart. And then you get it rebound. And you go... You move on forward. And that's just how I feel about it. That's part of why I do this. I'm not saying like, this might be unobtainium in a couple more years, right? I mean, my co-host Kyle was showing the other day, was posting up stuff about the prices of classic D&D books are starting to skyrocket on eBay. All right, that might not be easy for people to find. Maybe your old school is 3rd edition or 2E or 4E. Right? Don't be dragged forward. Don't be dragged forward just because. Taken from me, I'm wearing a purple wizard hat. That's right. That's just... That's just how it is, guys. That's just how it is. It doesn't run out. And I'm here to tell people there's still plenty of good stuff to be had back here in the old games. And I do this so people know it, because honestly, I don't see a lot of Dungeon Minister, and there's some other. I'm gonna have that video. I'm gonna have that video where basically I just roll call of goodness. Mechaform, exactly. If you want AD&D to stick around, keep playing it and introduce new people to it when you get the chance. That's it. Thank you, Cal. Thank you very much. Newer can be better, but also something something is I think you don't know where you're going without knowing where you've been. Exactly. And as far as the past is gone, move on. You take a look at some of the better selling adventures for later editions of D&D. You know what they are? They're remakes of AD&D adventures. There's been a Tomb of Horrors for every version of D&D. There's an original D&D, first ed. There was Return for second, a Tomb of Horrors for third, a Tomb of Horrors for fourth, and then they call it Tomb of Annihilation now for fifth. And I'm sure there will be for sixth also. I was going to play some 5e with some guys from way back in the day. Felt it was wrong. Cracked open Osric 2.2. There you go. Keep sharing the tapes. That's right, James Seymour. Keep sharing the tapes. But anyway, so we've got about 20 minutes, guys. What Tomb of Microtransactions? What questions do you guys have for me? Do you guys have any questions for me? Any questions at all? Ask me. You may ask me. and I will do my level best to answer them. I'm looking for. I lost my tab. So many windows open here. Oh, favorite DM. Okay. Let's see. If I could play any encounter over again, which one would it be? Probably the fight in the dungeon, the underground, like actual dungeon prison in G1. Let's see. What's the digits? 8675309. Any thoughts on World of Darkness? If that's your jam, play it and like it. I don't care for it myself. What are my plans for the future of the channel? You're kind of seeing it unfold in real time. Content videos during the day, live streams at night. Favorite DM moment of all time? Like I said, I think that was probably. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I don't have an easy answer for that. Favorite rule book. Favorite rule book. Oh, what's my favorite book? I'm sorry. What's my favorite book? The Lord of the Rings. Thank you, Ken. If you come to the Discord, you can come to the Discord. The link is in the description of this video. And we play live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tuesdays is AD&D. Wednesdays is a game that Kyle wants to run. And Fridays, right now, is Gamma World. Could change. Ginger or Marianne? Oh, Marianne. What kind of birthday cake is best? Chocolate ganache from Publix. Or a cheesecake that I've made. Do I have some advice on to have a better experience looking for, if I understand you, are you asking finding players on the internet? Just be persistent. Don't give up. Even if you only find one or two players, if they're really solid, latch onto them and build slowly from there. My 11-person AD&D game that I play on Monday nights, which I have to get to here in a little bit, I have had to build since like 2014. What's inside of that Car Wars box? The Car Wars rules. Favorite AD&D class to play when I'm not DMing Paladins. What's going to be the hardest part of transferring from a 4E, 5E, 4E background to AD&D? Probably the I would say demi-human level limits and class restrictions based on character race. You can't be an elven, a chaotic neutral elven paladin, for example. And a question: how many of my subscribers to change the name Guac to BillCon? How many subscribers? 100,000. 100,000 subs. How do I prep for my games as a DM? What's my process? I make extensive notes. I hook them into previous adventures, and I rely on the above ground, the hex population tables in the Dungeon Master's Guide. And I use the World of Greyhawk as the foundation. There's no such thing called BillCon. Sorry, collecting. Unless you're talking about something else. Do you have any stories about trying to wrestle the narrative away from the DM? A group trying to wrestle the narrative away from the DM and winning. No, but I have several players who tried that and lost. Well, I'm getting on the submarine. We're getting on the spaceship. Well, okay. And our adventure continued. And the player on the submarine, his adventure did not. I saw that, Bill. What's the frequency? CRM 113. On my Discord, can you observe a session? Yeah, come back tomorrow night. We'll play some first edition AD&D, and you can listen in. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you very much. Discord link should be down in the description. If you just scroll down. Ken Robeson, yes. Modules and self-created world building. Modules are there to help me anchor together my self-creation stuff. What's my favorite talisman expansion? Oh, that's a good. You're making me think back now. Let me look, Halsey. That is a good one. Wow. God. And leave it to you, because I haven't thought about talisman forever. I wasn't crazy. Probably Highlands, just because reasons. Because we got 6 new characters with it. That's about the best answer I could give you. Yes, I saw Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal is disjointed, but it's awesome. It's just like leafing through an issue of the magazine. It is gory, it's violent, it features lots of graphic sex and kind of an interleaving plot that makes me feel like I read an issue of Heavy Metal. 9 out of 10. Let's see. I think the camera angles did inspire SpaceX. Absolutely. Are there going to be problems for Osric? Maybe. I'm not a lawyer. Favorite Gary memory? Sitting on the front porch with Gary and Gail and my wife, who was a couple months pregnant with our now 15-year-old daughter, and talking about being dads. Just talking about parenting stuff. Thank you, Mandragon Studio. So one of my games of AD&D, and I got you curious for playing AD&D. Also, my ideas and storytelling is D&D. Thank you. Yeah, I think next week starts Classic Traveler. I hope I answered everyone's questions adequately. We got about 10 minutes left. Unladen African swallow, 5.4 miles per hour. In level flight with winds presumed still. I don't know if Talislanta got a 3.5 edition setting. But yeah, sure. Shout out for Talislanta. How does one become an immortal? Can a mortal gain from beheading an immortal? No, I don't think they can. I think immortal is something that is passed down patrilineally. with Paul Harvey of Role Playing Adventures. So God made a dungeon master. So I'll just answer your questions. Y'all keep throwing them at me. Kyle had to split the scene, but collecting chaos, enjoy your live comic sale. Did the recent hurricane affect me? Oh, there he is. This is Viking Hat GM. He left the green room and snuck out, and he's now sitting in the audience. He's next to you. One mad apple to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you and hear the lamentation of the women. And now he's run back into the green room because I caught him out in the audience. Did the recent hurricane affect me? That is a legit serious question. It did not. It affected my sleep. Both of them. We did have 2 hurricanes come through in the space of 25 days. I sat up all night long because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get to sleep. I will tell you a funny story about the first hurricane. Well, it's funny if you're a Floridian. Only if the immortal is Sean Connery. Your attack was too slow, Highlander. No better than that of a clumsy child. So the wind is blowing and everything, and I had forgotten when I had come in from nailing up the boards on the side of the house and everything. Fuchsia, I already answered your question about heavy metal. I forgot to lock the front door behind me. And the day latch didn't catch. So we had a gust of wind, probably about 30, 40 miles an hour, blast in front of the house, and I hear blam. And I'm like, oh, a tree branch must have landed on or something. And I get up and I'm wandering around the house, and I go in the living room, and the front door is open. Warm, humid jet blast of air blowing into the front of the house. So I run up and I shut it, and I come back in here. And this is like 2:00 in the morning, listening to the wind howl. Now, we never lost power, by the way, for either one of the hurricanes that touched us. But anyway, so I come back here. I was working on some stuff, and I keep getting these weird gusts of cold air and then humid air. And I go out into my workshop there, and I turn the knob to the door that leads into the outer garage, and there's this rush of air that snatches the knob out of my hand. The door bangs, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I shut it, and I just keep feeling these weird air currents and so on. And I'm like, I'm getting warm, humid air and then really cold air, and what's going on? So I go out into the house, and I look out into the den, which is in a straight line from the front door, front to back. The wind had blown the front door open, blown through the den, and blown the back door open. I didn't realize the back door was blown open, so it was like that for an hour. So there's a tale from the hurricane. If you had the social skills of a cat, if everybody else played D&D that way, probably not bad. If you had very patient DM, probably not bad. A short-tempered DM, probably bad. Dragon Slayer or Hawk the Slayer, Dragon Slayer every time and twice on Sunday. In my D&D game, can I play a paladin space dwarf from hell, but the demigod and doesn't know it, always has AC 10 and real clumsy until he goes to hit something? Then in combat, I'm assuming that's CBT and not another thing that CBT can mean, but gets best AC and plus 20 to hit, plus 50 damage. No. Hey, T-shirted. Greetings. Thank you for stopping by. It's T-Shirted Historian. Everybody go subscribe to T-Shirted Historian's channel and Dungeon Minister's channel, but T-Shirted Historian's channel too. The hurricane was inside the house. It was. It very briefly was. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Volcano. Coming to Orlando. Yes, absolutely. And you are one of my favorite people too, Volcano God. I will see you in February, my friend. No, Hawk the Slayer, absolutely not. My most treasured gaming item. My most treasured gaming item. I'm gonna go with my autographed Dungeon Master's Guide. Lots of good memories on that. I did almost get taken out by an air elemental. My Life on Wheels, thank you very much. Oh, Kanik, you were asking me about T-Shirted. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, and then you can communicate with him. Autographed by Gary Gygax, Errol Otis, Darlene, and David S. LaForce, and Jim Ward. That's who my Dungeon Master's Guide is autographed by. I have Gary's autograph and lots of other authors and artists' autographs on a few different things. How did I get into drug gaming, or how did I get drug into gaming? Yes and no, Bill. Thank you, Quite Quiet. I would gladly show you the signatures. The way the camera is set up, the lights are, in fact, in front of the camera. And if I took the book over to the camera, so it would be clear enough you could see the signatures, you couldn't, because the book would be in the dark and blocking the lights from the camera. I will show them another time. I got into gaming because everyone was doing it in middle school, and it looked absolutely fascinating. And during lunch, I leafed through a copy of Secret of the Slaver's Stockade, and it was love after that. If I could clone Gary from an autograph, I would ask him to play Gamma World. When did I first game? 81-ish or 82? Call you a lazy cute girl. I will. You're a lazy cute girl, can I? Thank you, Maximus. I haven't washed that hat in 20 years. The hat doesn't wash. The hat will fall apart if you get it wet. What set me upon the path of enlightened shared fantasy? Like I said, seeing a copy of Secret of the Slaver's Stockade and falling in love with it. Reading about the young hobgoblins working in the stable, and they would sound the alarm when they saw the adventurers. So, Wade A. Parker, greetings, by the way. Like 5 more minutes, guys, and then I got to go. 5 more minutes. Any more questions? What's the reason I switched to DMing? Because nobody else would run 1E AD&D the way I want to. The best life lesson D&D and RPGs have taught me. Oh, that's a wow. that's deep. The best life lessons RPGs have taught me is seek out people whose company you enjoy. You can grow great friendships at a gaming table, but you You don't necessarily have to expect that you will, but seek out people whose company you enjoy. Don't Annoy a Monster is a good one too. Monster-centric campaign. I like the balance of classic Dungeons and Dragons where you can play a demi-human. I don't really do player characters as monsters. Ronnie Hansen, thank you very much. Thank you, Ronnie. Would I attend Crunchyroll Express in 2023? If there was one in, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know where those cons are at. I don't know what I would have to offer at Anime Con. I like Akira, Castle of Cagliostro, and Bubblegum Crisis. Have I been able to avoid any pitfalls? No. I wish I could. I wish I could say. Yeah, no, I can't get out to San Jose Fuchsia. I can't afford to cross the street because of the condition of my automobiles. So, no, I can't. The Autoschema group concocted to beat an encounter that I made. I don't know. Bribing monsters and paying them off instead of fighting them. How am I coming along with my plans for a bed and breakfast and D&D Florida vacation package for the fans? Shh, Ken, don't tell everyone. D&D themed hotel would be fun for about 2 weeks. And then it would start to drive you up the lawn. It would just be another hotel restaurant. Well, Thrifty Steve asks, will I attend GaryCon? No, I will not. Again, no money. And that's not a complaint. I'm not rattling the cup. Those who want to, join on Subscribestar. Oh, God, I can't. Okay. Some people who are on Subscribestar, I looked at Subscribestar this morning and like a block of people all at exactly the same time on Subscribestar had been unsubscribed from me. Please, if you're a Subscribestar patron, thank you, Bill Trethaway. Blinker fluid change. Thank you very much. Yeah, Kenneth, and saying that doesn't make it any easier to not be there. Sorry, my mouth is parched and I'm out of water. Oh, somebody asked about Empire of the Petal Throne. So, Uncle Brat, interesting thing. I had an EPT first edition set from TSR for a very brief period of time. I bought it to use to possibly mine for ideas for original D&D. And I bought it for the princely sum of $100, which when you consider inflation is really, really, really good. And I sold it for $200. And now, of course, they're worth a mint, but I don't have it anymore. I thought the barrier for entry into EPT was way too high. Like when you hit me right out of the box, here's the made up language. Like the first thing for me, that's like, wow. You guys are pushing me over, so I'll give you 5 more minutes. Got to run. Happy. Thank you, Mad Apple. One Mad Apple. If you set up some kind of virtual portal into your mini convention thing that you're doing, I will definitely check it out, Kinnick. Thank you. Cat Repair Fund. Thank you. Thank you, Fuchsia. Thank you. Brodo. Thank you, Brodo. Much love, brother. Appreciate that one, too. Oh, my gosh. It's AD&D bastardized, but we're 70s, 80s high school gang. Well, that's fine. Thank you, Brodo. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. 47 watching and 92 likes. That's right. That's right. The word is out there. Some of my videos do well. Some of them, do okay. But like I said, guys, and I mean it, if there was one of you out there who needed this and nobody else watched, guess what? I'd still be here for you. I would still be here for you. So you may know that. You may know that. Just want to look at something real quick. Thank you, Fuchsia. Thank you, Jason. Because I just want to take a quick look at something before I dip out, and I'm going to have to here in a minute. 3,451 subscriptions on my channel. I am humbled and honored by you guys. Plays for actual plays? Yeah, we do Tuesday nights. We do first edition AD&D. Or did you mean original D&D? Because maybe we could do original D&D at some point in the future. But yes, Jason Karam, we do a live play. Thank you, Thrifty Steve. How very thrifty of you. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. But anyway, I am, let's see. To be 100% transparent, the Enforcer channel, the LSA, does not broadcast on Monday at 7 p.m., but you are running on Mondays. Yes. Horseradish, roast beef, and cheddar is no longer warm. That's what you get for eating the salad. See? You don't make friends with salad. I feel bad because there's 43 of you out there still watching, and you guys have thrown so many super chats, and it's been so wonderful. But I gotta go. I gotta leave. Okay, so let's wrap up. That will fall off on the floor, so I'm just gonna look, Todd. Look. You shouldn't be. That's not the that's not the invisible horse. The invisible horse isn't here anymore. The last I heard of the invisible horse, it was the good Lord Corian and Ronnie Hansen. Thank you so much. But I am good God, you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for this. And drag me off set. I'm fixing to go play first edition AD&D. It's not a live stream though. But anyway, I forget what I was going to say. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Oh yeah, tomorrow night, about an hour of blather, then first edition AD&D for a good couple of hours. Wednesday night, Kyle has control. Fuchsia, thank you. I can't. I gotta go. Yes, a big shout out to Claire. I really am incredibly thankful to you guys. But first edition AD&D tomorrow. Wednesday, Kyle will be here in the house, and it'll be open. You thought tonight was a madhouse. Wednesday, we're just going to put our feet up, and Kyle and I are going to talk smack. Wednesday, Kyle will not be here. Don't come here if you're expecting to see Kyle. He won't be here. Well, tell those peanut people in that peanut gallery that you're talking about. Thank you, Todd, and thank you for being here in the chat instead of in the peanut gallery, wherever or whatever that is. I don't know what it is. Thursday, just open time, just fun open time. Although we will get into some D&D stuff on Thursday. Not going to spoil it and tell you what it is yet, but it's coming. And finally, Friday, chat, and then Classic Gamma World. I am done. Thank you all very much for all the love you've shown me today. Have a wonderful evening. I love you all. Peace.